Hey everyone, welcome to our first YouTube live thing. I was just really excited. I got this in the mail today. Mwah. Eclipse is a fantastic space and political intrigue board game. It's kind of in the same family or same class as Twilight Imperium. It's a little shorter. Some people would argue that they're very different games, and in many respects, they're right. But it is a sort of space exploration board game, and I really wanted to unpack it with all y'all. So we're gonna do that. How about that? So we have this box here, which is the core game. And then we have this second little expansion. And I say little, I do not mean little, but in comparison to this box, it is quite small. Worlds of Far collection. So I am very excited to be surprised by what's in this. I'm a huge fan of first edition. I found it to be a little fiddly in terms of the cubes. From what I have been made aware, they've sort of fixed that problem a little bit with this edition. What I really hope they fixed, personally, if anyone out there has ever played Eclipse, I hope they fixed the plasma missiles. It was a certain tech that you could very easily load up on with your ships and just outfit every single weapon slot, tech slot with plasma missiles. And so you would really only get one shot before combat even began. But if you had all of those slots outfitted with plasma cannons, you're basically firing about like somewhere between 6 to 10 missiles, depending on what space vessel you have outfitted. And even though you only are firing once before combat, it usually stops combat before it even begins. Your opponent does not get a return fire. And I found that to be very overpowering, imbalanced. I really found this out the hard way when I started playing Eclipse on my tablet. And it was uncanny when the computer got plasma missiles, how quickly the game ended. It was crazy. Anyway, without further ado, let's unpack this. Oh, man. So this is quite the beast. And we are going to very gently open this up here. Again, I just got this in the mail. This has been a long-awaited Kickstarter. They've had a lot of delays. And, if anybody has any experience with anything Kickstarter, you know that even with delays, once you get the product, it's almost, not quite, but almost like everything's forgiven. So, this is a heavy box. We will set this here simply for the visuals. I will enjoy a sip of whiskey. Bourbon, to be exact. And the first thing we pull out of the box is the rules. And as you can see, the art is very cool. Definitely an upgrade from the last game. I don't know, the first edition's art, I don't know, maybe some old schoolers would not like this, what I'm about to say, but the art in the last edition was laughable. It was just kind of cheesy and weird, and I didn't really like it. But I'm flipping through the book right now. And as you can see, they actually have fallen. They kind of follow the format of how the instructions were in the last edition. Now I'm excited to see whether or not, because this is something that I've noticed in games in the last, I don't know, like 3 years, maybe 2, is that rule books are starting to become better written and way more intuitive, both with the use of visuals, pictures, visual aids, and of course the information that they're giving within the book. So so here's the rule book. We're going to set that aside for now. Ooh, look at this. How to fill your box with trays. So they actually give you a visual as to how all these trays kind of fit into the box. And then on the flip side, they get into the minutia of each tray and how those are filled. Now I'm going to tilt this up, kind of show you, oh boy, what's going on in there, and we'll pull them out one by one. So this, I don't know if you have not played this game before. This game comes with a lot of tech, and the tech are in these little square tokens, in the form of these little square tokens, and so I'm sure that this has everything to do with storing them. We'll put that to the side. There is this tray here with a cover that comes off. And okay. I have yet to see how this will be utilized in game. Oddly enough, this game is reminding me a lot of when I first unpacked Gloomhaven. A fantastic game, but not necessarily my game. I've played it a number of times, a number of scenarios, and I ultimately decided it wasn't for me. I'd just rather play D&D or other role-playing games. So we have a whatever the hell these are. So this is, oh, wow. So these are the orbitals. And I do believe that if you can kind of see how that is formulated, the orbitals, there's a little square in there. And that, I imagine, would be for one of your resource squares that fit directly into that. And that's fascinating. So we've got that. What do we got here? We've got a type of ship. All right. I am not sure what kind of ship that is. It looks vicious and amazing. And then we have a series of dice. Now, this is interesting. So we've got blue dice, we've got red dice, we've got yellow dice, and we've got orange dice. Now, from what I remember of the previous game, there were no blue dice. So I am not exactly certain how this is different. But we've got a blank side. We've got 4, number 4. We've got 2, 3, and then we have this starred side, 3 stars. The yellow dice have 1 star. The orange dice have 2 stars. The red dice have 4 stars. So, okay, so I'm seeing a pattern. 3 stars. Blue dice never existed in the first edition, so they must have added a third slot to the efficacy of weapons. So, and that's actually kind of, I mean, I don't know. I hope that doesn't get too complex. So there are the monoliths, the space monoliths. So, you know, I mean, again, if any of you are familiar with Kickstarter, you know that usually when you buy into a Kickstarter, they give you all these really fancy schmancy new pieces. And so that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. So yeah, you've got these like monolith pieces, whereas the older edition, at least the one that I bought, the retail edition, it's all the orbitals and the monoliths were tokens, and they were double-sided tokens. You could just flip them over. So, which I didn't mind at all. I actually found that really easy to keep track of. So I guess that's one tray. We've got the dice. We've got these purple cubes, which are most likely damage counters if it's anything like the previous edition. So we'll pop this top on here. And we're going to move on to whatever's next. Here is an identical tray. So we have two of those trays with more dice, more purple tokens, more ships, more orbitals, more monoliths. And then we have some really solid bags that should be used for all of the tech that you're randomly drawing. I'm guessing they haven't changed the rules all that much, but we'll see how it goes. So let's pull out this foam piece. Throw that off to the side. We now have, oh wow, yeah. So the color of each individual alien. So white, yellow, blue. For those depressed aliens, those aliens not feeling too great, a little down, maybe in the middle of winter. I'm actually more speaking from my own personal winter experience. I'm over it. Red, green, and the black. Now, I can only imagine that all of these pieces are going to be somewhat similar as you pull them out. So let's, but actually let's continue. What the actual, whoa. So show this up close here. So that has to be the galactic center or the aliens that are occupying the galactic center. I mean, that's my only guess, because that's like if a Death Star and those kind of Russian dolls that fit inside each other had a baby. It's opening up like a sci-fi egg ready to destroy. All right, so we've got that. A purple token that I would only imagine is the round counter. And then we have this tray here, and as you can see, it's numbered pretty well. It's even numbered on the back. So we have number 1 hexes, number 2 hexes, more 2s, more all 3s all the way across the board. And this looks like this is very much to hold pieces while you're playing the game. So that's kind of fun. You know, how practical all this is, I'm not sure. I mean, like, I'm one of those folks that play board games. I eventually go to like Broken Token or what's the other one that's sort of that foam material? I can't remember. I just got it for Twilight Imperium. I just packed up my whole Twilight Imperium game in one of those. And so I'm one of those gamers that will very much use those. Ooh. Okay. Here is a very thick cardboard cutouts, cardboard punch outs of all of the pieces, which is a lot. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be unpacking that tonight. Wow. So here's an interesting thing. So here are resource counters for the game. Oops, 1 second. There we go. Okay, so there's 6 of them in here. And this color would most likely be your economic power. This color, brown, is more likely than not your building power. And then in the middle is the all-powerful science. Excited about that. Like I said, the first edition's version of this was very fiddly. And then we have the alien boards, which I'm about to pull out. Okay. So, humans. So we've got the Terrans. Is that what that is? Yeah, the Terrans. Okay, so this is all Terran based, all human based. As you can see, all the ships are exactly the same, which is kind of the I don't want to say the easy mode, but I will say it's the normal mode, where everybody's on the same footing mode of this game. Art has dramatically improved. They don't look like funny little cartoon characters. And yeah, that's it. So then if we flip them around, we have the alien races. The descendants of Draco. And all of the aliens have they have different starting tech. They usually have different resources that they're better or worse at managing, and so on and so forth. Oh, the plant people, what are they called? Planta. I mean, very creative. I remember them having weird ship build-outs. So when you're playing the game, you can outfit all of your new weapons, which is based off of your tech up here, and put different squares to occupy different spaces. Upgrade your weapons here. This is kind of like the run-of-the-mill gun, but you can upgrade your weapons to orange dice or red dice. I would think the red dice are the antimatter cannons. The blue dice, again, different thing. So I'm not sure how that's going to play into things. Here are your political allies / the victory shields that you can get, but who knows if that is still. Yeah, it does have the shield outline, so that's probably builds into part of the game here. I know that Planta, they could also drop more people on planets. And when I loosely use the term people because they're plants. Sentient plants. It's kind of like our Terra Sentia role-playing game we have every Thursday on Twitch. You should go watch it. Okay, so what else do we have? What are these guys? The Orion Hegemony. They are, if I recall, very militaristic, but I'm not quite certain. Oh, yes. Hydron Progress. They are the tech race. They can outfit themselves with more tech than your average race. These folks, what are they? The Iridani Empire. Pretty sure they start off with a crap ton of resources right off the bat, but a little later in the game, it actually gets tough for them to catch up on said resources. I'm sure they make great bourbon, though. Sure of it. And what you got? This is Mechanima. What were they all about? I think they were all about advancing science very quickly. So that is, and again, I have to like go through this with a fine tooth comb, because one of the things that I think everyone trips up from like past edition games to current edition games is all of the rules that we all assume are the same until we find out that they're not. I've done that many times in role-playing games and board games, and but it's always such a delightful thing when you find out that you were playing a rule a certain way and you find out, oh shit, I was wrong. I think I'm gonna switch that up now. Let's see. And we're back to the descendants of Draco. So those are the alien races. I'll set those off to the side. So let's take a look. I mean, also the box. I mean, look at the box. Beautiful. Whew. Let's take a look at the individual alien pieces, shall we? Ooh. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we have here, let's come in a little closer actually, because I feel like I'm leaning over the table awkwardly. So we have all these little pieces here, and I'm going to try not to dump them out, but I am going to pull them out individually and take a look at them. So we have a bunch of resource cubes, and then we have a bunch of resource chits. So here are the round little disc-like chits for probably keeping track of your resources. So if I pull a random one, so this is not very much different than the last version of the game. See, all of these chits, these discs go down here, and they kind of run counter to your resource chart, which is going to be on this thing. Now, what I just noticed is that there are these things, and I don't know how they line up with the charts, but there's a, let's see if I can, there is a yellow sort of tracker, there's a pink tracker, and there's a brown tracker for each individual resource that you're using in the game. Now let's try to see how this fits in here, because does it clip in here? Like, how does this work? It's very strange. So I'm looking at, this thing right here, and I'm looking at these little trackers. Sorry, this would go over in this area. And but I kind of imagined as this game came out that there would be some kind of a clipping, like a track ticker almost, similar to Gloomhaven Second Edition when they came out with the resources. But gosh, I want to just sit down and, I mean, is it this simple that it just lays on the number? And because I don't know, that's a little underwhelming unless there's something more to it, which there may be. So you have those. You have all the different ships. So so all the ships are interestingly very blocky, which is, I have no idea what that is. It's most likely, gosh, I really don't know what that is. Cruiser? I'm not sure. I have to look in the rules. You have this very tiny ship, which I don't know, could be a transport. I mean, they went full on Borg with this. Look, it's just a giant cube. And I could only imagine, considering that that is the biggest ship, that's a dreadnought of some kind. And what else do we have? And then the smallest ships, which are probably just the fighters. And that's about it, man. Now, my question is, do all the ships look similar or the same from one alien race to the next? Let's check it out. Here's the green one. We're opening up the green one. Oh man. Okay. They've totally outdone themselves. All the ships are very different. And I probably knew that when getting into the Kickstarter, but this was such a long time ago. I don't remember until now. It's coming back to me. But like this is the plant people ships. Like, look at that. That's super awesome. And they're even like odd shapes. Look at this. These are clearly the fighters. Oops, sorry, just drop that. It's hard to give you a good idea of that. And then there's this thing. I mean, it's practically like a squid and a flower and maybe starfish like, but it is very cool. And will look nice on the board. And then lastly, there are these things here. Yeah, very, I mean, very awesome for the plant people. So the red color. Okay. Once again, back to super blocky. Kind of neat. I mean, like they have some individual flavor. Oh, these are cool. These are sort of like a almost star or I don't know, claw shaped almost. And then these little fighters, which so hard to show you, but do my best here. Don't mind the wrinkly hands. Working produce for a living, and my hands are pretty much cracked and crusty all the time. All the time. Okay, so that's red. Moving on to blue. The bluest of the blue. Ooh. Okay. So we'll start with small first. Ooh. Simple but effective. So we have these small ships. Ooh. Very flat. And elegant. We have these, also very flat. Again, I don't know what ships are what out of this set. I mean, like, you know, I can only imagine that this is this alien's version of the Dreadnought, which is super cool. Like, it looks like a crazy insect. I won't say firefly because that'll depress people. Oh shit, I just said it. And yeah, I love this this design of these alien vessels. They are very insect-like. All right, yellow. Let's take a look at yellow. Okay. Oh gosh. Whoa. That is crazy. So looks like some kind of futuristic Batman symbol or something. But it very much, the architecture is very symbolic. I like that a lot. Super angular. I hope that's the race that has the kind of long, kind of gas mask snouts. I can't remember what their name is, but that would be neat if those or that race. Oh, whoa. Okay. So there's this, which is a creepy crawly thing of almost looks like a flower pod that has yet to have bloomed. It's neat. One of the larger ships, which, you know, is kind of a, these are hard to hold, sorry. They're kind of a bigger version of the smaller fighters. And then lastly, and this has got to be their Dreadnought. Ships are actually very, you can handle them easier. Well, that's yellow. Lastly, the white pieces. Oh, okay. Okay, so we have these here. All right, look at that. So these all have like a hexagonal shaped insert in the bottom. It's that leads me to believe that there is a way to put these on stands, which I have not seen anything like that yet in the game, but that's kind of a fascinating thing if that's an option. So here's most likely the fighters of this race. So you've got that. Ooh, okay. Dreadnought, maybe? Not sure, but oh my gosh. Yeah. And then this is the oddest piece. I was kind of saving this for last. Check that out. Yeah. It's like a strange squid-like creature in rigor mortis. Oof. Okay. Well, you've seen everything in the base game. And that's pretty exciting. I'm kind of liking what I see. Can't wait to play it. But what's in here? That's what I want to know. I mean, I wanted to know what's in the base game too, but let's figure out how to open this without damaging the box, shall we? Oh, it opens from the side. Okay. Well, thanks for. See, I got 2 viewers. Thanks for joining me on my journey here. I really like when I saw this was arriving. I was just so incredibly excited. I could not wait. Holy crap! Okay, a lot of stuff in here. Worlds Afar collection. Wonder what that means. Extras and whatnot. Here, I'm going to back up the laptop. Boom. And oh man. Oh, okay. That sounded weird. My bad. So we have. Oh, interesting. So they comes with Terran ships. So these, if you're playing the humans, it's got a bunch of normal, I guess you can call them normal like ships. Yep, here we go. So here are the stands and the bases for if you want to play with all of your little ships on bases. That would be fun, but also I'm thinking kind of fiddly and I don't know, take up a lot of time. Extra dice for the set. That's kind of neat. Okay. There is something called, and this is probably a little mini expansion called a Rift Cannon. So it is a specific type of tech. There's a Rift Conductor and a Rift Cannon. So the dice, interestingly enough, have 4 stars on them, but one of them is not solid white. It's just outlined. So rare tech. You may upgrade your ship blueprints with Rift Cannon shift parts. Rift Cannon provides a special Rift Cannon die and consumes 2 energy. The Rift Cannon ignores all computers and shields. It may deal 1 to 3 damage to the opponent and or damage you. Okay. Oof. Maybe that's what that solid versus not solid means. The rules are, oh, here we go. A solid 1 star means deal 1 damage to the target. A solid 2 stars, 2 damage to the target. A solid, so there's 4 stars with 3 solid but 1 outline. So it says deal 3 damage to the target and 1 damage to one of your ships with rift weapons in the battle. So it's sort of like they malfunction in a way and explode on you. And then there's 1 star that's not solid. It's just an outline. It says deal 1 damage to one of your ships with rift weapons in the battle. There's also a blank side that says that the attack misses. So it's kind of a random array of possibilities there. Okay, so the next thing here, it is a little mini expansion called Minor Species. And Let's see here. Minor species. Contents: 9 minor species ambassador tiles. Rules to include the minor species in your game. Randomly select 4 minor species ambassador tiles and place them in the play area at the beginning of the game. Diplomatic relations with minor species can be formed at any time during any of your actions. Pay the money cost shown on the minor species ambassador tile to place the tile on one of the empty ambassador tile spaces on your reputation track. Okay, so this is sort of a addition to, or perhaps an add-on. So I'm sorry, that was the same thing. So in addition to, or to replace the political dealings in one's game. So there's a little packet called Galactic Events. And what I'm seeing on the back here is there's a nebula in here, there's a supernova, there's a black hole, yes, and there's a pulsar. 8 sector hexes consisting of all 4 of those. So I'm sure there's like 2 of each. And yeah. Wow. So yeah, this seems to be quite the little expansion. I'm just excited to play with the base game right now. Just oh boy. Sorry about that. Ooh, another extra dice pack. Neat. Okay. So what do we have here? We have a scoring sheet. Extra tiles of a sort. Ship part tiles. I think these have everything to do with kind of player aids. That's what this looks like. There's a bunch of player aids. So you have, scoring chart, other tokens to punch out, but also I'm pretty sure these look a lot like booklets, and you can kind of take them out and have them at the ready for each player. Okay, well, this has been oddly exhausting, but really fun. Just kind of like normal unboxings. I think I'm going to sign out, and I'm going to punch out all of the pieces and kind of get it ready, because I'm pretty sure that we're going to play this next Tuesday if I can convince some of my friends to join in. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and see you on the flip side. First time streaming on YouTube, so we're usually on Twitch. But this is Critical Misfits. Bill signing out. Enjoy your evening. Bye-bye.